Will SJB and NPP come together to expose the government? JVP divided on workplace struggles. Lucky behind Dulles Charitha duo's entry.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
Will SJB and NPP come together to expose the government? With 2 months to go for the presidential polls, President Ranil Wickremesinghe had a meeting with the Rajapaksas at his residence on Paget Road on Wednesday. Mahinda and Basil Rajapaksa, as well as President's Chief of Staff and National Security Advisor Sagala Ratnayaka, were present. It came after one-to-ones between Ranil and Basil that went on for some months. On Ranil's idea, this meeting with both the Rajapaksas was coordinated by Sagala, Shiranthi and Yoshitha. Elections were the main topic at the talks that lasted around 2 hours. When Sagala referred to Nimal Lanza's animosity towards Basil, the SLPP strategist told him not to worry over it. "They will do their work and we will do ours. This is no time to make an issue out of it," Basil asserted. For further details, we will have to wait for Ranjith Ananda Jayasinghe's political column on Irida Deshaya or Asoka Jayatunga's President's E-column. Later in the day, Ranil told the UNP Management Committee that both Rajapaksas were on a positive stand. But Lanza says the Rajapaksas are taking Ranil for a ride and that he will be sidelined at the last moment for entrepreneur Damika Pereira. Sources at the SLPP head office at Nelum Mawatha say the president has agreed to hold the presidential polls on time, but is yet to make it clear whether he will contest. The head of the Election Commission says the Gazette declaring the election would be issued before July 30th. So, the likelihood is that nominations will be called around August 20th. So, Ranil has up to 5 more weeks to declare his stand. If the president contests, he should first lure a sizable lot of SJB MPs to his side, say government politicians. He promised Basil that he would do that by July 15th. But it is rumoured that he obtained 2 more weeks from the 2 Rajapaksas to show results. Previously, the president's plan was to oversee the crossovers that happened at a vote on a speech by him in Parliament following the Good News campaign. It had to be abandoned after SJB MP Harsha De Silva objected, noting the debt restructuring agreements were yet to be tabled in the House. Now, a better game plan has been designed. The Cabinet has approved a proposal to amend the Constitution, addressing inconsistencies in the terms of the President and Parliament. The proposed amendment seeks to substitute the phrase exceeding 6 years with exceeding 5 years, thereby ensuring that both the presidential and parliamentary terms are aligned. Following an adjournment debate on the proposal today, a vote is due. But civil society activists and election monitors are complaining about it. Dr. Pikiasathi Saravanamuthu says it is final that the president's term is 5 years. The election should be announced on 17th of July. The Election Commission should ensure voting rights of the people, he says. PAFREL Executive Director Rohana Hetiarachchi says if anyone challenges the new amendment, the election is likely to get postponed. It urges the Election Commission to announce the election at the first opportunity. People should question the president who claims Parliament to be supreme, but manipulates it whenever he wants, he alleged. With the SJB taking all these quite seriously, Sajith Premadasa summoned an emergency meeting on Wednesday. When one MP said they couldn't oppose, Professor G.L. Pieris explained if the proposal gets passed in Parliament, it has to be placed before the people at a referendum. SJB General Secretary Ranjith Madhuma Bandara suggested launching a campaign against a waste of taxpayer money on a referendum at a time when the local government election too remains deferred. Sajith asked S.M. Marikar to start working on it, and that one promised to blast Ranil's trick this time too. Also, Sajith told Lakshman Kiriella to look into the possibility of getting AKD2 involved in it. Their decision is for the National People's Power to propose to Parliament that the presidential election be held immediately, and for the SJB to second it, lucky behind Dulles Charitha duo's entry. On the same day, a breaking news alert announced the decision by Dulles Alahaparuma and Professor Charitha Herath that the Freedom People's Congress will ally with the Samagi Jana Balawagaya to face the presidential polls. At a media briefing, Charitha elaborated thus.
මැතිවරණයක් අභියස තියෙන රට අපි සමගි ජන බලවේගයත් එක්ක කරපු සාකච්ඡා සාර්ථක වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා අපි ඉදිරියේදී ඒ පළල් දේශපාලන බලවේගයක් ඇතුලේ ජනාධිපතිවරණයට මුණ දෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ අනුව ජනාධිපතිවරණේ අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා අලුත් දේශපාලන සංස්කෘතියක් ඇතුලේ අලුත් දේශපාලන වැඩපිළිවෙලක් විදියට විපක්ෂයේ ප්‍රධාන වැඩපිළිවෙල ඉස්සරහට ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා.
He expressed readiness to work directly with the opposition in the coming weeks to create a political change. But some ex-FPC lawmakers haven't taken that lightly. They lost 11 out of its 13 MPs due to bargaining by the Dulles, Charitha duo for SJB positions. Now they are allying with it because it is on a winning way, said one of them. GL, Dylan Pereira, Nalaka Godahewa, Galapati, Wasanta Yapa Bandara and Ananda Kumarasiri joined the SJB in January. Jayasumana, Udayana Kirindigoda and Gunapala Ratnasakara went their different ways. Thilak Rajapakse was on the SJB stage at its Ampara rally, and Elawala is due to follow suit in Kalutara at the weekend. An hour or two before Charitha held the media briefing, Sajith senior advisor Lakshman Fonseca was at the opposition leader's office at the parliamentary complex. His arrival saw everybody getting into action, with Hesha Vithanage bringing in a duo from the SLPP to the office. Elawala and Rajapakse came to obtain their membership applications. Madhuma Bandara suggested they too receive their letters along with Charitha tomorrow. Then Harshana inquired about Dulles and was told he will join at the agreement signing for the new alliance. Senior lawyer Krishmal Warnakula too arrived to a warm welcome. The ex-MPP member was hugged by Sajith. All these are taking place to down the morale of the SJB parliamentarians said to be leaving for the government. With Ranil still insisting support will come from some SJB MPs, what could be the next scene or the next episode? JVP divided on workplace struggles. Public life remains disrupted due to the ongoing wave of strikes. The government accuses the JVP-led NPP over it. Some former JVP cadres grouped as July 9th movement are campaigning against these strikes. It was the Leader TV that revealed their plans some days ago. Ex-MP Siripala Amarasinghe was the keynote speaker at a seminar organised by them. He is now the Chief of Staff of Lanza's New Alliance. The aim of the seminar was to reveal that the JVP was behind these strikes. Anyway, the JVP is yet to own up, with Politburo member Lalkantha even having criticised the work stoppages.
සමිති ව්‍යාපාරය තුල විවිධයි ඉන්නවා. ලංකාවේ උපසමිති ව්‍යාපාරය ඇතුලේ තරම් දේශපාලන ශේෂ්ත්‍රේවත් කචල් නැහැ. ඒ විදුහල්පති අරගලේදී සමහර අය කිව්වා අපි අකණ්ඩ වර්ජන කරමු කියලා. ඒ නිසා ඒව ඇවිල්ලා අකණ්ඩව දිගට කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් ඒවා නෙමෙයි. දිගට යනකොට සමාජයෙන් එනවා මොකද්ද? ගැටුමක් එනවා, ප්‍රතිවිරෝධයක් එනවා. දැන් බැංකු කියන්නේ දිගටම කරගෙන යන්න ගියොත් වර්ජනයක්. අකණ්ඩ ඉල්ලීම් ලැබෙන තුරු අකණ්ඩ වර්ජනේ. පුළුවන්ද? එහෙම බෑ. එහෙම පුළුවන් නම් ඔයාලට නායකයෝ ඕනේ අත්දැකීම් තියෙන.
He refused to acknowledge these strikes in the health and education sectors. Speaking at a meeting of retired bank employees in Kandy on 8th of July, he said instead of trade union struggles, everybody should get together and enter the election battle. Now, the government is leaking a video showing contradictions between what Lalkantha said and a speech by the party's teacher union leader, Mahinda Jayasinghe.
දැන් මේ 28 වෙනිදා සාකච්ඡාවේදී අපි ඉදිරි ක්‍රියාමාර්ග පිළිබඳව දීර්ඝ ලෙස සාකච්ඡා කළා. විශේෂයෙන්ම මගේ පැත්තෙන් මම ඉදිරිපත් කළා ඔව් අපි අඛණ්ඩ වැඩ වර්ජනයකට යමුයි කියන එක. ඒ වගේම ජෝසප් ස්ටාලින් සහෝදරයා පැත්තෙන් යෝජනා කළා නෑ අපි දින 5ක වැඩ වර්ජනයක් කරමුයි කියලා. නමුත් ගුරු විදුහල්පති වෘත්තීය සමිති සන්දානයේ එදා රැස්වුණු සියලුම දෙනා එම යෝජනා දෙකම ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරලා කියනවට වඩා ඒ යෝජනා මේ මොහොතේ ක්‍රියාත්මක නොකළ යුතුයි කියන ස්ථාවරයක තමයි එදා ගුරු විදුහල්පති වෘත්තීය සමිති සන්දානයේ ලෙස එළඹුණේ.
සමහර අය කිව්වා අපි අකණ්ඩ වර්ජන කරමු කියලා. නමුත් එතන හිටපු බුද්ධිමත් වෘත්තීය සමිති නායකයෝ කල්පනා කරා අකණ්ඩ වර්ජන කරලා මේක කොට දාන්න කරන්නත් ඕන, පස්සට ගන්නත් ඕන, වැඩට යමින් ගමන් කරන්නත් ඕන, ආයතන ඉස්සරහා උද්ඝෝෂණ කරන්නත් ඕන. දෙමව්පියන්ගේ ළමයින්ගේ සහයෝගය ගන්නත් ඕන. ඒතර දෙමව්පියෝ පාරට බැස්සා ගුරුවරුන්ගේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳපන් කියලා. ටිකටම ඉස්කෝලේ යන්නේ අකණ්ඩ වර්ජනේ. මොකද වෙන්නේ? ටික දවසක් යනකොට දෙමව්පියෝ රැකලා මගේ ඉඳලා ගහනවා.
In the meantime, the FSP has accepted responsibility for the strikes. Its propaganda secretary Nagamuwa says they support it because state sector workers cannot live with their salaries in the face of high inflation. Pointing to government claims that the VAT should be raised to accede to demands by the strikers, he questions the basis for the pay hikes given to the central bank and for executive grade officers. One solution is recovering the Rs 600 billion given as tax relief to meet the increasing salary payment costs, he says. In the meantime, some say the strikes are giving a new lease of life for Ranil. SJB's Marikar is of the view that the government creates divisions between the strikers and the citizens instead of settling the issues. Such tricks will only shorten the government's lifespan, he said in Parliament yesterday. It was a shameless, divisive attempt by the Finance Secretary to say the VAT has to be raised to 22% to hike state sector salaries, Marikar said. Despite these intimidatory tactics by the government, people will give vent to their feelings at an election democratically, the SJB spokesman added. These contradictions go on to show clearly the NPP is without a proper idea about an anti-government strike. The only result is inconveniences to public life. All these talks and criticisms with nothing getting done are the common norm. That's why the people suffer so much. That's it for today.